2024 was a monumental year for LEGO Star Wars. The beloved partnership between two of the world's most iconic brands celebrated its 25th anniversary this year. That's right, LEGO Star Wars is now a quarter century old. I honestly can't really believe it. To commemorate this milestone, LEGO went all in on 25 years of LEGO Star Wars branded content. This included special sets with plaques, lots of exclusive anniversary minifigures, and so much more. Because of this, you'd think 2024 would be one of the best years of LEGO Star Wars to date. Unfortunately, that is not the case. I actually found this year to be quite disappointing. Don't get me wrong, there are a number of very interesting sets, but when compared to other recent years of LEGO Star Wars, it feels like a letdown. And this made my job of picking the 10 best sets of the year a lot more difficult, but it didn't deter me from my task at hand. So without further ado, I present to you my picks for the top 10 LEGO Star Wars sets of 2024. Number 10. 75388 Jedi Bob Starfighter. I came so close to leaving this set off the list, and when you hear my honorable mentions towards the end of this video, you'll probably understand why. I think this set has its issues. The price of $40 is asinine, and the secondary minifigures here are extremely disappointing. However, the long-awaited return of Jedi Bob after his first appearance in 2002 was worth it. The new version of the character pretty much looks perfect in all his yellow LEGO skin glory. I'm also just a sucker for Jedi Starfighters. They are one of my favorite vehicle groups in the entire Star Wars galaxy, and this one looked pretty darn cool. It reminded me a lot of my personal favorite Jedi Starfighter, Anakin's custom version, the Azure Angel from the original Clone Wars show, and that is going to really give this set a lot of brownie points for me. I do wish the color scheme were a little bit more interesting, but the design is good enough to let that slide. Number 9. 75377 Invisible Hand. Ever since the release of Revenge of the Sith in 2005, I've always wanted a LEGO version of the Invisible Hand. The giant Separatist flagship just seemed primed to be a really good LEGO set, but I waited years and it never came. Personally, I would have preferred seeing a larger playscale set or maybe even an Ultimate Collector Series version of this ship, but instead, LEGO gave us a rather affordable $50 midi-scale rendition of the vessel. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of midi to micro-scale things, but I actually think it worked out pretty well here, and LEGO was actually accurately able to capture tons of details from the ship in universe. They were even able to fit in the function of it physically breaking in half, which was really cool. It's also one of the few sets on this list that was genuinely a good value, so it has to get major props for that.
Not to worry, we are still flying half a ship.
Number 8. 75389 The Dark Falcon. 3 words: Darth Jar Jar. Yes, the popular fan theory that's been floating around the internet for years became a real-life LEGO minifigure officially released by the LEGO Group. I can't believe it, honestly. I can't believe Lucasfilm even let this happen in the Rebuild the Galaxy special on Disney+. What wild times we live in. The other figures in this set are also equally as kooky and cool. What a fun minifigure lineup. As for the main attraction, the Dark Falcon itself, it's essentially a recolor of the 2019 version of the ship, made to coincide with the release of Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. I didn't put it as high on this list for a couple of reasons. 1, it's not canon, so I don't care as much about it. And 2, it is so similar in design to the 2019 set, I can't quite put it as high because it's not as original. But on the flip side of that, it made the list because that 2019 Falcon is the best playscale version they've ever done, so I had to acknowledge that here as well. And there is a certain novelty to this set. The red cockpit especially looks very cool. Number 7. 75381 Droideka. The unofficial sub-theme of buildable characters from LEGO Star Wars over the last few years have been very hit or miss for me. We got a number of them this year, including a brand new R2-D2 and C-3PO, neither of which made this list. The best buildable droid from 2024 in my opinion is the Droideka, which might be the best buildable droid they've ever done. I'm partial to the Droideka. I think it is such a fun and unique design, and LEGO captured it effortlessly here. It's such a unique design in the Star Wars universe, and I love the techniques they were able to bring it to life. Additionally, this set has some incredible play functions. I love the way the arms can move back and forth, and it also kind of can roll into a ball. It's not the smoothest process in the world, but I really appreciate LEGO trying to tackle that. The only thing really holding this set back for me is a horrible looking brick-built Droideka minifigure. LEGO, I think you just need to make a new mold for this droid. The brick-built versions ain't working. Number 6, 75397 Ultimate Collector Series Jabba's Sail Barge. Before I reveal my controversial thoughts on this set, I'm going to give you a little inside look into my thought process while making these list videos. I don't willy-nilly write these lists. I think about them for a long time, and I make drafts way earlier in the year. In fact, way before this set was even revealed, I'd already penciled it in at number 1 on this countdown because I assumed LEGO was absolutely going to knock this set out of the park. Unfortunately, that was not the case. This set is a major letdown in my opinion. Granted, if it retailed for $350, it probably would have been in the top 3 on this list, and if the minifigure lineup was a little more refined, it would have been number 1. But sadly, that was not the case. This set has one of the worst prices I've ever seen for a UCS set at $500. I cannot believe that is what they're charging for this thing. Additionally, the minifigure lineup is just lazy. LEGO could have done a way better job. It still made my countdown because I think the build is pretty darn good. It's not perfect, which is why it's only at number 6. I think it's lacking some detail, especially on the side, but for the most part, it looks solid. But man, I think it is a tremendous letdown this set didn't even make my top 5 of the year. Number 5, 75382 Ultimate Collector Series TIE Interceptor. It had been 24 years since this version of the TIE Fighter, my personal favorite in the Star Wars galaxy, got a version in the Ultimate Collector Series from LEGO. And I think it was mostly worth the wait. There are some gaps around the cockpit I don't love, but besides that, this is a very good looking UCS model. Frankly, I don't have that much else to say about this ship. It's really well done, and I think it's a better value than the sail barge, which is why it got a slightly higher spot on this countdown. Number 4, 75375 Millennium Falcon. Even though we've gotten so many different versions and scales of the Millennium Falcon in LEGO form, this mini-scale rendition really impressed me. It has a UCS-esque attention to detail, despite being really small. Like the TIE Interceptor before it, I can't really explain in words why this set is so high on the list, it just looks so good. I really don't have any issues with it besides the $85 price tag, which is why it's extremely high in my countdown. The only thing keeping it from the top 3 is just personal preference. Number 3, 75394 Imperial Star Destroyer. Does anyone else remember when this set was rumored to be a Death Star playset?
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Anyways, it ended up being a new playscale version of the Imperial Star Destroyer. It had been 10 years since the last one, so I think it was time for a remake. And it looks really good. It's a little bit too small, which is kind of in line with a lot of the stuff LEGO has been doing recently, downscaling their ships, which is an issue for another video someday, but I cannot ignore the attention to detail here and how smooth the exterior looks. Also, it comes with a Cal Kestis anniversary minifigure, which is hard to beat. Unfortunately, the rest of the figures in this set are super generic and super boring, which is why it's not number 1 on this countdown. Number 2, 75372 Clone Trooper and Battle Droid Battle Pack. Trust me when I say I heavily contemplated putting this at number 1 on my list. The only reason I didn't is because the builds are nothing to write home about. Don't get me wrong, I think they're good, they're definitely serviceable, but to be the best set of the year, I think you really have to have a tremendous build, and this set does not have those. But for an army builder, especially if you're trying to build a big battle from the Clone Wars era, this is a dream come true set. 3 generic Phase 2 clone troopers. I have yearned for these days. Also, the Super Battle Droid is back. So good to see them again. All of this is packaged into an affordable $30 price point. This set is awesome. Before I reveal my number 1 set, I have a couple of sets that barely missed out on this countdown. I nearly included the Boarding the Tantive 4 set, but I just prefer vehicles to interior builds. The Imperial Dropship vs Rebel Scout Speeder set is also really cool. The minifigure lineup isn't my favorite, so it barely missed the cut, but it's a really fun set. And finally, this year's May 4th promo, the Trade Federation Troop Carrier, really impressed me. It was essentially its own Battle Droid battle pack and also paid homage to a classic set, and I quite enjoyed that. But now it's time for my number 1 LEGO Star Wars set of the year, and this selection might surprise you. It is number 1, 75374, the Onyx Cinder. The Skeleton Crew show has not even come out yet at the time of recording this video. It's still about 2 months away. However, we have enough concept art and reference images to know that this set is very accurate to that show. But the main reason this topped my list is because I haven't had as much fun building and messing around with a LEGO Star Wars set more than I did with the Onyx Cinder this year. I'm a major sucker for Star Wars vehicles that have lots of hidden compartments and opening spaces for interior, along with cool Technic functions, and this set has all of that and more. It's also a brand new vehicle, something we sorely lacked from most of the other sets this year. Pretty much everything was just a recolor or a remake of something we got in the past, but we've never seen the Onyx Cinder before, and we probably won't ever get it again. I also think it's just a cool looking ship, what can I say? And finally, the minifigures are really nice, highlighted by Neil, who is one of the most adorable Star Wars characters I've ever seen. It's a weird, unconventional choice, I know, but a somewhat down year for LEGO Star Wars allowed this to happen. That is why the Onyx Cinder is my favorite LEGO Star Wars set of 2024. And that is my list. What did you all think? Please let me know your personal lists in the comment section down below. Thank you all so much for tuning in to today's video. Stay tuned for more end of year top 10 countdowns from Brickology Productions. Have a great rest of your day. Peace out. God bless. Bye-bye.